An ERC20 bug found by OKX leads to the halting of deposits. Nasdaq considers becoming a cryptocurrency exchange. Icon opens a blockchain accelerator. Sequoia Capital sues Binance over a failed funding deal. Justin Sun to introduce Tron super representatives via livestream. MIT students attempt to take down Bitcoin. And Snoop Dogg hosts a party for XRP Ripple. And the market has retraced its gains of yesterday. Is this slide indicative of the end of the bull market? We've got all your headlines mixed with some daily market analysis. I'm Elio Trades, and your FUD TV Daily Update starts now. Welcome back, FUD Nation. And no, we don't like to be here looking at the numbers we're seeing. Look at this top 10. It is a massacre. It is Bloody Sunday, and it's Wednesday. And look at this, the only coin that's even remotely a little green is EOS, and it literally pumped like 40% yesterday. It's still up significantly. Like EOS is holding its gains pretty much over yesterday. It was up above 15 bucks yesterday. It's here about $14. It must be crazy high in Satoshi value because Bitcoin took a dive about 4.5% here. You can just see the whole market's really depressed here. It's lost about $3 billion since I even started checking out the news this morning a few minutes ago. And yeah, we're down below 390 billion. That's a retracement of about 2 days ago, which is really surprising. I mean, maybe not fully surprising because it was really bulling yesterday. Like yesterday looked like a breakout day. And whenever there's huge breakout days, there are correction days, but this is significant. And to see top 10 coins, multiple top 10 coins above 10% in the reds, you just know you're going to be losing a lot of market share here because you're talking about the biggest coins in the market losing over 10% of their market share. So this is a lot of loss that we're seeing here in the top 10s, and that's what we're going to see, you know, throughout the top 100. I doubt we're going to have too many coins in the green here. Yeah, we have about 10 coins here that are clocking greens, and of course, none of them, I mean, we'll have Tron up here, but Tron had just done a rocket ride up to about 8 cents yesterday, and now it's retraced back to 6.9. Storm doing all right, and Decred, but again, these are small greens, if any greens. The only thing that's up here is Mixin. Ontology's holding strong here, just under $5. I think this is a strong performance here because Ontology's really been going against the market a little bit. Like whenever there's been really a lot of bearishness, like Ontology was bulling before the market was bulling, and then when the market bulled, Ontology kind of leveled out, and now the market's pulling back again, and it seems like Ontology's not gaining strength, but it's certainly not losing strength. It's gaining strength in Satoshi value, that's for sure. It's gained quite a bit of strength over yesterday in Satoshi value. EOS, like I said, holding on to their small gains, or huge gain from yesterday, but holding on to it. And yeah, as you can see, then we get into the reds and it gets really deep dark red here. We get some 20% losses here. On February the 6th, from the 6th all the way up until, well, I guess it was the 6th up until the 10th. So we had 4 days there of real pumping, and then it pulled back, kind of went sideways. And then we had another from the 13th all the way up to the 17th, 18th. So we had, you know, 2 little mini weeks here of pump with a little pullback in between. And now we're seeing that from about, you know, the 10th here, we've had pump all the way up to really up until the 24th. So that's honestly been a much more solid growth even than February. So seeing this pullback isn't devastating, right? As we've had 2 weeks of continual growth, which is absolutely nice. At any rate, we can just hope that this is a mini correction here and we're going to regain some strength here, hopefully around the $400 billion mark or around the sort of $375 billion mark and start building back up here. I really don't like the way this is going, and hopefully this isn't the beginning of another bear trend like we saw get initiated back here at sort of the beginning of March, and we sort of had a bear trend. At any rate, there's not a lot we can say here. We've just had a pretty significant retracement in the market. In our lead news out of the day, there was actually a bug found in Ethereum smart contract that would allow for ERC20 tokens to be created by malicious actors without limit, allowing for essentially fake tokens to be created and deposited into normal accounts and then spent or traded. This is very, very bad, and it sort of calls into question the whole system. It could be one of the reasons we're seeing such a market dip here, especially from Ethereum, which has seriously taken a dive today. In a blog post, the 3rd largest exchange in the world, OKX, explained that they confirmed the bug, which is called batch overflow, was allowing malicious parties to generate an extremely large amount of tokens and deposit them into a normal address. This makes many of the ERC20 tokens vulnerable to price manipulations of the attackers. To protect the public interest, we've decided to suspend all deposits of ERC20 tokens until the bug is fixed. That was a statement from OKX. This is big news that there's a bug in the ERC20 system here. The ERC20 system pretty much governs cryptocurrency. And just to be clear, this is not in all ERC20 tokens. This is just in a couple of them. However, the implications of bugs in ERC20 contracts that would allow for customer multiplication of them are significant. Most big tokens, literally, even EOS, who's supposed to be the Ethereum killer, currently only exists as an ERC20 token. Well, then there's a big issue here because it calls into question the whole validity of your hard-capped fixed supply cryptocurrencies. The whole point of cryptos is that they're rare. We've created digital rarity. So according to OKX, they've contacted the ERC20 token teams that are being affected, and supposedly they're trying to work towards a resolution. We'll look for more details. Of course, this is very disconcerting as ERC20 tokens truly govern most of the cryptocurrency world. Very unsettling news and could be part of the reason why there's been such a sharp decline in price with Ethereum, though like we were saying, after so much bullishness, the bears do tend to come out and sort of take their chomps. So maybe that's just it. And in news that seems kind of super obvious on one hand, and on the other hand, it seems like, okay, this is huge news and a huge deal. Nasdaq has released plans that they will actually consider becoming a cryptocurrency exchange. The reality is that this is a prime target for the current investment community, and that real investors in the world, as they come to understand cryptocurrencies as sort of the new penny stocks, if you will, or the new global stock market, you know, a new way to fund and sort of invest in exciting opportunities, I think that the ICO space and the cryptocurrency market space is going to really rapidly start to outshine the traditional stock investing space. I mean, where else can true veteran traders make 10% in 10 minutes? In my opinion, real professional traders on Wall Street kind of put crypto traders to shame with the amount of techniques that they're using. Like, they're getting crazy on this to get that one little fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent out of their gains, because it's just not ever happening that you're going to get 5, 10, 20% in a day in Nasdaq. It just doesn't happen like that. I think that as you're seeing the development of this market, it's a no-brainer, but at the same time, extremely bullish and exciting news whenever you see Nasdaq signal that they're going to become ready, more accepting of this, because with Nasdaq comes a stamp. This is like a psychological stamp of saying, you know, this is America, the free economy, the New York Stock Exchange. Like, this is the big show. And saying that Nasdaq approves cryptocurrency, this puts it in the running as one of the lead investment sort of forums, period. And in more news we consider quite bullish for cryptocurrency, we have another project, Icon, announcing a sort of accelerator or a VC fund, if you will, where they're going to be pouring funds and helping cultivate emerging blockchain projects, helping spur and speed up the pace of innovation. We're seeing projects like this come out of EOS. We're seeing projects like this come out of Tron with their Project Genesis $2 billion fund, and of course EOS with their now $1.5 billion in funding, or whatever it's at right now. This is what the world is moving towards, which is we need more innovation, we need more projects, and we have right now these sort of digital wealth, these digital castles that have been built up with so much capital, and EOS and Cardano and Ethereum and all these big blockchains with almost limitless capital resources are now saying, okay, how do we take what we have and move the needle, move the rock, get the results out of this industry that we need? And part of that is by startup incubators and accelerators like you're seeing with Icon. So very exciting stuff. And obviously this is more of the story of maturity of the industry and creating infrastructure for new projects to come about. And when you're hot, you're hot. That is certainly the case for the Binance exchange, which is currently being sued by venture capitalist firm Sequoia Capital, which is out of San Francisco, California. The story goes a little something like this. Last summer, when Binance was really just emerging onto the scene, they had worked a financing deal with Sequoia Capital where they were going to be offered $8 million for about 10% of the cryptocurrency Binance, which was about $80 million in value at the time. Of course, a lot has changed since mid-year last year, where Binance has rapidly become the world's largest and trusted cryptocurrency exchange. So in that time, of course, the feelings around that $80 million valuation have drastically changed. And around mid-December, the conversations with Sequoia Capital truly broke down. In their breakdown, essentially what happened was Changpeng Zhao, the head of Binance, decided that this valuation of $80 million wasn't seen as fair to him or his shareholders anymore, and they wanted not to go through with that funding deal. So they ended up going and sort of linking up with a different capital group, IDG Capital, which offered them much more hospitable terms on the money. For that reason, they wanted to go forward with the better, more suitable capital deal. And of course, now that Binance is the hottest exchange in the game, Sequoia Capital is gearing up, trying to get theirs and get their chunk of the Binance exchange that they believe they successfully negotiated at a very reasonable price point given the current value of the ecosystem. Of course, we have no idea where this ball is going to end up landing, as this is an international lawsuit about funding that didn't quite happen. It's not quite clear where this is going to fall or if this is going to negatively impact the Binance exchange, but what I see this as is proof of heat, proof that Binance is the hot fire and that everybody wants their piece, and that if they can't get their piece, then they're going to cry to the lawyers because they just really want it. And everybody knows that Binance is going to the moon, period. It is going to be one of the central ways that people exchange cryptocurrencies ongoing, not just through their centralized exchange, but through their upcoming DEX, their decentralized exchange that they're launching. Anyway, to me, this is more evidence that Binance is the number one. I guess I just don't know who else to share this with, so I'm going to share it with you guys. I just couldn't help but laugh at this. Like, he just looks like he's about to do a magic trick, and it's so funny to me. Justin Sun, the world's most sought after magician, is going to be doing magic live. All right, I'm kidding. Justin Sun's actually doing a live stream to announce the super representatives and some other stuff. Again, just another overblown marketing thing from Justin Sun. I can't help but be entertained. Like you guys know, I do have Tron. I'm a big investor and believer in Tron, but I'm just sorry. He just cracks me up with this. It just cracks me up. And MIT students actually tried to plot the demise of Bitcoin through a few different strategic or theoretical paths. Spoiler alert, none of these paths actually work. It doesn't really work. We just thought we'd outline in this section how the top academic emerging minds can't really figure out how Bitcoin actually dies. It doesn't. Anyway, the first situation they outline is the use of central banks that use digital ledger technology or distributed ledger technology to issue their own currencies, shrinking the market for Bitcoin. The reality is that these stablecoins would only increase the accessibility and appetite for Bitcoin in the end, is the real consensus. The second instance, a digital economy evolves into a mass barter system in which nearly every company issues its own cryptocurrency, and a blockchain-based system trades them automatically when users need to make purchases at a specific business whose tokens they do not own. Essentially, this is the concept of everyone has a million different types of tokens and weird money, and it's all fine because we have a decentralized exchange that whenever I need to pay for anything, it goes in, recognizes that value, and it sends whatever value the retailer or the vendor wants to be paid in. It's not like your type of value necessitates that you have to pay the vendor in Tron or Stellar or Google stock or whatever you're paying in. This ignores the concept that company-specific tokens will actually require an underlying blockchain to secure them and facilitate the bartering, and that this blockchain would likely require its own native currency. And obviously they point to the need for a reserve currency. It's not like just companies are reserves. Companies live and die. They have short lifespans. 96% of them fail. So having a currency that's modeled off of a company is not exactly a long-term vision here. That's why Bitcoin, as not a company, as just a decentralized store of value, has been so successful and will continue to be because there's a desperate need for it. And finally, there's the concept that a social media conglomerate like Facebook would essentially seize control of the Bitcoin market, issue their own coin, try to control the market, and really crash Bitcoin in anticipation of launching its own coin. I guess imagine like Facebook was doing a Jihan Wu and a Bitmain. It's definitely an idea here, but essentially what they're saying is in order for Facebook to raise the value high enough of Bitcoin or whatever that it would create so many miners that it couldn't take over the network. This one's a little bit more sketchy for me. You can't beat Bitcoin with just an altcoin. It's not like an altcoin erases Bitcoin. We've proven that over and over again, that Bitcoin has a very useful purpose, and that it's decentralization, it's competitive creation, there's a lot of factors that make Bitcoin really valuable and make it so it's going to be almost impossible to kill. Just some food for thought, y'all. And as usual, we're going to end on the fun stuff here, as Snoop Dogg Jizzle is about to host an event for XRP Rizzle. And yeah, I think I did that right. In case you were thinking about stopping by to this XRP community night that's happening on May 15th and hosted by Snoop Dogg, just know it's invite only, so you can't just roll up at the door and drop a few of your XRP to get in. There's going to be 2 rounds of Twitter contests to win tickets to this. One is going to happen on April 26th and May 2nd, and it's going to be Twitter trivia and make the meme. So if you feel good about your social media savvy, go ahead and enter into those Twitter giveaways and see if you can vie for one of those 10 tickets. Regardless, this is just fun stuff. It just shows how cryptocurrency is spilling over into mainstream culture. Snoop Dogg, of course, he's the most marketable man of the century. It would not surprise me if he's sitting on a bunch of crypto fortunes too. So more power to you, Snoop. More power to you, Ripple. Let's go cryptocurrency. Let's take over. Fusing this crypto world with the pop culture world. Let's get it. Thanks for being with us for another exciting episode of Crypto News here on FUD TV. I'm Elio Trades. It's been an absolute pleasure. Sad that the episode is over, but it's not the end for us. Let's move this conversation down to the comments. You guys know I love hearing what you have to say, and responding with you guys has been really just the highlight of the week. The whole week has been amazing, your guys' comments. If you guys are new around here, make sure to subscribe. Subscribe, yo! Because we do crypto vids each and every day, and we're about to start pumping out some seriously hot content. I'm Elio Trades. I loved having you guys with me, and I can't wait till the next episode of FUD TV.